Recently in Cardano and in crypto in general, projects have continued building, but not as many people have their eyes on them. And especially the high quality projects that are building, a lot of people have seemed to lost sight that those things are still coming and still being worked on. In today's video, I want to go over a few projects on Cardano that have been building for even up to a year and a half now. And I am still very excited for the release, as I do think they're going to be major contributors to Cardano's future success and adoption. First things first, if you want to earn passive ADA on your ADA, you can stake it with the Jack stake pool. And I also want to mention that just because I'm talking about these projects doesn't mean that I'm telling you to go buy their tokens and, just absolutely go crazy. Personally, I don't really have any of the tokens for any of the projects I'm talking about. If they have them, maybe like one or two very small amounts, less than, 100 ADA worth. And I, for now, plan on keeping it that way. Not because I don't want to invest in these projects, but because I just don't have that much ADA to spare right now. And spending on these projects, if I was going to spend it, wouldn't be a bad idea. But I'm just telling you my situation. I don't have that much ADA in them. Now, the first one I want to talk about is Maladex. And if you haven't heard about Maladex, it's essentially a DEX trying to solve impermanent loss and take it away completely. They have a bunch of great developers and people behind them, but more importantly, they've been working on this and taking their time for a long time. October 2022, they released an 89-page white paper. It's gonna be a year soon since that white paper has been released, and they've been really just going crazy, entertaining the community, but still building things behind the scenes. And I've made a video on them separately. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to go a bit more into this. But mainly in this video, I just want to tell you what these projects are about very generally and let you decide if you want to check them out. But Maladex, to me, is one of those projects that most people don't really pay too much attention to, but in reality, the backbones and infrastructures, or rather the fundamentals of Maladex, is something that is nothing to gloss over, especially when we're talking about DEXs that are going to solve major problems that we have now in Cardano DEXs. Next up, and I'm sure you've heard of it, is Liquid Finance. Now, Liquid's been building for over a year and a bit now, a year and a half, a long time. They've amassed a large following on Twitter because people are very interested in them. They even have their own NFT project, the Aqua Farmers, which boosts your yield when Liquid does come to mainnet. But Liquid is essentially a lending and borrowing platform, and we don't really have these on Cardano right now. We have kind of makeshift ones, but Liquid is, again, one of those projects that isn't rushing to put something out to main network, and these things are still coming soon. It's not really real dates for them, but Liquid has been in testnet for a little bit now, I believe, in certain parts, and they have been making progress as well in the bear market. But again, it's one of those projects that is so massive to me, especially with how much time they're taking and the team behind them, that the fundamentals again are following that Cardano ethos of taking things slow and steady, and maybe even winning the race of lending and borrowing, and the best platform for doing so on Cardano. If you guys want more in-depth videos on any of these projects that I'm mentioning, I'll be happy to do so. But really the best way to figure out more is to go to their websites and look at them. Launch their apps if they have them, their demos, check them out, check out the team, and vet them yourselves. That's how I like to do it, and I do think you get a lot more conviction and interesting, things to know when you do it this way. So I'll leave the websites for everything I'm mentioning in today's description, but Liquid is another one which I think is going to be one of those massive dApps on Cardano that everybody uses, and it's going to be the default lending and borrowing platform. At least that's what I believe. Now, next up, I want to talk about Indigo Protocol. This is another project that isn't out on mainnet yet, but essentially they are backing real-world assets with synthetics, and it's a really interesting concept. I could go more in depth into it, and if you want to look more into it, it's basically saying you could have a share of gold on the Cardano blockchain or something similar, a synthetic of gold. You could match its real-world peg and benefits by holding it here on Cardano. Now, is this something that I'm going to do a lot of? Maybe not, but I do see a major use case for this with people trying to get different yields or different benefits from holding different things while also still maintaining that layer of decentralization and being on Cardano. Having exposure to real world assets while also having the decentralization of Cardano, holding said assets with also not having to hold the assets physically, is a great thing. And I do think there's going to be a lot of use cases for this and a lot of people who like this on Cardano, which is why I'm mentioning it today. That's Indigo Protocol. And I'll also leave the website link for this down in the description. Lastly is a project called Orbis, and I haven't really looked into Orbis until recently when they wrote a thread on data availability. I made a video about that about 3 days ago. Great video on how Cardano can scale using a modular blockchain model with layer 2, and I do think it is worth checking out for sure, while also maintaining that great decentralization that Cardano holds. But Orbis project is one of those things that is also coming soon, hence the name of the video, coming soon projects, not projects on mainnet. And they are using ZK rollups layer 2 scaling to scale Cardano. And I do think that there's a lot of great scaling initiatives. We have Hydra, we have Macomata, we have so many layer 2 things coming. But this is also another one that I just think is very, very unknown to a lot of people. So I thought I'd throw in today. Orbis project using ZK rollups. A lot of people from other technical communities really like what's going on here. And if you read their threads, they explain everything or a lot of things, and you can learn a lot of information from the project. So just from a information standpoint, looking at Orbis project right now is a great way to learn a lot about scaling and the intricacies and technicalities of Cardano and layer 2s. So if you do want to check that out, make sure you do. Anyways, that's it for today's video. 4 projects that I am very excited for that are probably coming soon. Hopefully they're not yet out at least, and they have been working for quite a while to build, especially the first 3 I mentioned, Maladex, Liquid Finance, and Indigo Protocol. Those are 3 that I've been waiting for the release now for over a year, and still I'm not really rushed about it, but I am excited for them to come when they do come, because I do think when they're released, they will change a lot of aspects for the Cardano blockchain, being such high quality products or high quality dApps. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. It's been your friend Jack. Peace out.